Hello people. So this is a video review of this Fire Stick from Amazon, and I'm going to show you and explain exactly why this one doesn't work and what's wrong with it, as well as showing you a working Fire Stick and it working. I'll try not to show the brand there just in case I'm accused of trying to sell a product or something. But anyway, let's show the not working Fire Stick and why it doesn't work. So this one has aluminium tube here. It's got a screw on top, brass screw, and a brass piston for the middle. So basically this seals the top here. It is a good idea having this unscrewable, and the reason that is because with this two O-rings here sealing the inside of the shaft there, you shouldn't be able to push this all the way in without it popping back out due to the pressure. So this idea here is basically so that you can unscrew it, release the pressure, put the piston here all the way inside, close this again, and it's nice and compact for storage, or as compact as it can be. It is quite heavy, but it feels solid, and if it was made properly, it would work and it would probably last a very long time. But anyway, I'm going to show you what's wrong with it just to show you again. Aluminium tube, fire piston, the piston with the two O-rings for sealing, and a little pocket on top here for placing your charcoal or something similar in order to get it to ignite. So basically what you want to do is, this was clean, but I've tried it out a few times, try to get it to work, but it's pretty much clean anyway. It's clean enough that it should work. Anyway, this here would go back on here, get a nice seal, turn it on quite tightly, as tight as you can, and then you would place some, this is actually the charcloth that comes with the piston, which is actually, there's nothing wrong with the charcloth. The charcloth is just fine. It should ignite just fine, and I'll show you it working with the other piston in a moment. So just bundle that up a little bit, put it in the pocket. You should actually lubricate your two O-rings here. Lubricate the inside, maybe unscrew this and just get all the lubricant inside there, so that you're not wearing out the O-rings and you're getting a much tighter seal, and it should be able to create the pressure required to auto ignite your fuel source, which is your charcloth here. Anyway, this one doesn't actually work. I'll explain why. But the method to use this is supposed to be that you charcoal in the little pocket there, charcloth in the little pocket. You put that in there like that. This should be tight so that it's sealed, and then you should be able to basically strike the palm of your hand with it, and the piston should go into the shaft. It creates a seal on those two O-rings against the inside of the shaft, and it against the inside of this tube, and it creates enough pressure, which is creates enough pressure to create enough heat to auto ignite the fuel source. But anyway, I'll show you this one. And the charcoal burst out. Anyway, that's not supposed to happen. That would be user error on my part. If you do find that's happening, it's because you're not putting the charcloth in there properly. So let's use that as an example of how not to do it. But regardless, this one doesn't even work. Again, I'll explain why. You probably see it in the written review anyway. But if we do this, no fire. In fact, it's not going to take fire, and the reason for that, I'll keep this for the other piston. Let's keep it to the side there for now. The reason for this is actually that this arrived, and it had been used before. I don't know if they used it for testing, or there is a review, another 1-star review, that states when he was trying to use this, shavings were coming off from the inside of this tube. So basically, the idea of this is that you should be able to, I don't know if you can see in there, but you should be able to put this and the two O-rings, seal it perfectly all the way down until so there's no pressure it can escape, etc. Now what you find with this is the the brass piston here is actually not a large enough diameter in my opinion, because what you find is if you put it in just a little bit, you know, enough to where it actually should seal, because the O-rings are inside the tube and the O-rings are up against the inside wall. If you put it in this far, like not very, like just in and no more where it's sealing, and you hit it at a slight angle, what's going to happen is this here, the tip of the little pocket at the top there scrapes the inside of the aluminium tube. You take a little chunk out of it, a little shaving off of it, and then your O-ring can't seal in this area where you've taken a chunk out. So already, because of this movement, because there's way too much, there's always going to be some, because the diameter of the piston has to be smaller than the inside in order for it to fit. But you know, this is way out of tolerance in my opinion. So when you like I'm saying, I believe this already happened before I started to use it. Well, I know it did, because I didn't use it like that, because I spotted this flaw from the beginning. But after finding out that I can't get this to work, I took it apart, I cleaned it with some fairy liquid and some toilet paper, and just used a pen to push the toilet paper through the inside, back and forth, took it out until I just kept doing this with toilet paper until it was totally clean. I don't want to use anything else, because I thought I didn't have any pipe cleaner or anything like that, or anything softer. All I would have had was something like sandpaper, and that's probably not the good idea to start with unless you can identify a problem with it and you think you can fix it. But anyway, so I took it apart and I inspected the inside here. Now you probably can't see it on this camera, but I'm going to try and line it so that you can. Now the inside of this here is actually all scratched all the way down to the very top. It's scratched and scored. I don't know how that's even, well, I do know how it's possible, but under correct operating conditions that shouldn't happen at all. So I think somebody probably put something else in there in the top here, maybe a different material for starting the fire or something like that, and they've done this. I also found some red paint-like substance near the top here, like where the screw is, where this female thread is, and I had to scrape that off with a hard bit of like plastic to try and break it off, which I eventually was able to do without marking the aluminium. But the quality of the manufacturing in this is actually not that great either, because you see the threads here that's been cut, the inside thread. At the end of this thread there was shaving of there's an aluminium circular shaving, which is where the thread has stopped being cut at the bottom. It's been taken out and it's just been left this little ring of aluminium. Now that could actually be what is responsible for the scratches on the inside, and I believe it is the reason why it's scratched on the inside and doesn't work. Now you could repair this. Now I could repair this. In fact, I submitted a return request to Amazon, to the seller, sorry, and I haven't checked as of today, but it's been about a week and there's been no reply, so it doesn't look like I'm going to return this. But it's not all lost, because the charcoal is not too bad. This power cord is, well, it's too small to be useful for anything else really. Plus you can buy like 100 meters for about £10 or something, so it's not like it's a big deal. The little tub of grease, again, I mean, none of this is worth the money that I've paid for this fire piston, obviously. And there is a few spare O-rings and things which I also had to change from the beginning, because the ones that came, I think they're still here. I'm not going to look for them though, because, oh no, I left them out. That's good. So maybe I can show you on here the O-rings. One of them was quite badly damaged. They had a chunk right out of it. Well, that's one part of this one. I don't know. It's going to be very hard to see. I'll see if I get this to focus. There is a tiny puncture in this O-ring, so it's been gripped with something and it's broken. You can probably see it there. It's torn a little bit. So either it's been put in there without any lubricant and it's just been rubbed until it's broken, or it's actually been put on here wrong or taken off here wrong. I don't know which. Well, I didn't take it off wrong anyway, but maybe someone else has been playing with it before I got it. The other one is also the same. You see here a nice little break right there. Now that's going to be a big problem. That's going to stop it sealing, and you see here a nice chunk at the other side. Oh, I get this focus again. Sorry, people. There's the chunk on one side, and there is, where are you? There is the break on the other side there. It's not very clear in this camera, but you can probably see it anyway. So those are the O-rings that actually came on the piston to begin with. I changed them because I noticed they were damaged. Lubricated again, lubricated the shaft again, gave it a few other goes, nothing. Now you'll find, well, with this particular one that I've been sent, you'll find that when you put it in here, it should begin to seal immediately, but you find there's no back pressure. It's not sealing. One, because of the problem I pointed out to begin with, which is the shaft being shaved here by the diameter of this piston being too small and it going in at an angle and taking shavings off the aluminium. So it doesn't actually start to seal until, like, you could see it start to pop back out, where it pops back out to. I'll get it down this way maybe. So you put it all the way in this far, and it's not sealing until, still not sealed, still not sealed, still not sealed, sealed, seals to there. So that's where the seal is taking place, which is around here somewhere where the O-rings are, which leaves you this much room for compression, which clearly isn't enough on this. And I'm not saying it's not enough, and it's not possible to have a chamber this size and for it to ignite, but in this particular one it's not good enough because there's also scratches on the inside, so you're losing a lot of that pressure. Now those scratches, probably they would still be an issue, but probably wouldn't be as much of a problem if these shavings here at the beginning of the tube weren't there, which again is caused by the design flaw and using incorrectly, I guess you could say. But the design flaw should eradicate basically the incorrect use, as it were. So as you can see, like I'll show you again, it doesn't seal until there. That's where its seal point is. So you're left with about that much to compress with. And again, if I do that and hold it for long enough, I tried this, it actually, it loses pressure and it will stay at that point. And you could do that, but again, like I'm saying, it is holding pressure, but the chamber, what's left of a sealing chamber, is not enough, and it's not a perfect seal either due to those scratches. Now, so I've showed you this one, doesn't work. I showed you where what the flaw is in it. Now this is another one. It's made of hickory instead of the brass and aluminium, but the internals are I believe either aluminium or, yeah, they're aluminium. I can feel it. So they're aluminium. You can see it's shorter. It is shorter than, I'm really trying hard not to show the brand name on this. You can see that it is shorter than the other one just by a little bit. Like if I pull that out, you'll see that this is where it begins. Now, the thing is, this is now starting to seal immediately. The good one. This is sealed immediately. As soon as you put that in there, it's sealed as it should be. That's exactly how a fire piston should be. The downside of this one, there is no top here, so you can't screw it off to release the pressure in order to store it like this. So for storage purposes, if you want to get it tucked in there like that and store it away, you'd actually have to take this O-ring off, and then you'd be able to slide it in there without the pressure stopping you from it staying in there. But that would be risky, because if you're going out into the field, you may find that you lose the O-ring or something like that. But again, it depends on what you're planning on doing with it, and how you feel about it yourself. So anyway, I'll show you this one actually working. So that's a bit that just blew out a second ago. You can rewind if you don't believe me. this is the one that we tried to use in the piston I am reviewing, and if I put that in there, you can see it just sitting. Oh, I've knocked it off. You can see it just sitting nicely in there. And just to demonstrate how to light a fire with this as well, I'll just use this lid here. You can take some of the tinder which comes with the fire piston, not this one, but the one I'm actually reviewing, which is adequate as well. There's nothing wrong with the tinder. There's nothing wrong with the charcloth either. So you can take some of this stuff, maybe fluff it up a little, make a nice little nest for your coal from the charcloth when it does ignite to go into. Take that bit as well, and then you can also, this is a bit excessive because I'm not in the wild, so I can't make tinder from wood that's available, but this is fat wood as well. You'll see that being able to burn a little bit as well, just for a bit of excitement in this post. So put that in there like that. Once again, you need to lubricate the shaft and the inside of this as well by once putting it on the o-ring here, a little bit on top of the o-ring. Try not to get the wax or your lubricant inside there, because it's going to make it a little bit sticky and a little bit annoying with your charcloth in there. But you can get it just up above the o-ring here, so that when you push it inside there, the lubricant is getting on the back side of the o-ring, and there will also be on this side of the o-ring too, which is good. It means you're going to have good lubrication. So you just do the same, pop it in there like that, and then as you can see, first time didn't work. Or did it? Nope. It's hard to tell sometimes if they're just blowing it, and you'll see a glow. If it doesn't glow, it didn't work. How about there? Nope. And I blew it off. That's nice. Try again. There's a good technique to this. I haven't really mastered it per se yet, but there is a good technique. Now I'm gonna have to actually take an extra bit out of the bag here that came with it and pack it in a little bit more so it doesn't fall all over the place. But that's okay. And I'm still making a mess. Come on. Come on. There we go. There we go. On there like this. Oh, it fell off and it's burning my hand. But there is a little ember. I don't know if you can see it there. I'm going to get it to take fire like so. I've made it go out. That's okay. It landed on the fat wood instead of the twine or whatever this finer stuff is, which would have taken fire more easily. I also rushed it a little because I'm here in the camera, but here we go again. We'll just stick this bit in because I've already demonstrated that there's nothing wrong with the charcloth that comes with it. Wrong way. Good news is you only need a very, very small amount. There we go. That's a lovely little coal there. You might want to also use something like this to in there. I'm gonna lose that, yeah. Okay, so it didn't all fall out either. But I think you get the, this was always bound to happen, right? On camera. I think you get the pictures though. You've demonstrated a working one and demonstrated one that doesn't work. I would like to demonstrate getting a fire though, so I'm gonna try just one more time, pack some more in there, just a little bit more. And goes there like this. That didn't like this time. You wanna be quick in pulling after you've hit it downwards. You want to be quick, or sidewards. You can do it sidewards, but I find the charcloth can fall out a little bit sometimes, which can be a little bit frustrating if it touches something too cold, like the inside of this, or if it fell in the tin here, and it made good enough contact with it, it would just burn itself. It would either cool down too much, or obviously it would burn out, but it would probably just cool down too much. And if you don't take this, after you've hit it down, if you don't take this off quickly enough, it'll burn up the available oxygen that's in this space, and it'll burn itself out as well. But that should, ooh, that didn't light it either. That's just like it, isn't it? There we go. Nice. That's a better one this time. Now you shouldn't have to rush too much if you use an adequately sized piece, like I have this time, didn't the other times. And you should be able to just there we go. Sorry, I need to pull this closer. Oh, I lost it again. That's always going to happen on camera, isn't it? Anyway, that is the basic principle of it. Once again, you want to try and actually, I probably should have just waited before putting this fat wood on there, because as you can see, the fat wood actually ended up taking most of the heat from the little coal that was made. I should have had it more in this little basket here and been able to create it like this, but again, I knocked it out in the wrong place twice. That's my fault. Bad technique there, but you get the principle. And how to use this to light a fire, a working one that is. Once again, I think, you know, even with this design flaw, if you know about it and you're aware of it, you're not gonna, that's not really gonna be much of a problem to you unless you just make a mistake and you accidentally, you know, do hit it sideways while it's too far out. Or you don't even have to, let me clarify, you don't actually have to hit it sideways or anything. It's just if it's slightly off center, which it's always going to be, you're hardly ever going to be able to hit it bang on center, which is why it's better to start off with it a little bit inside. But like I'm saying, this one just doesn't seal, it doesn't work, it only seals to there, and you've got all of that inside before it is actually sealing, which is like halfway up. In fact, it's perfectly halfway up. So you've lost all of that before it is even making any seal at all. And like I'm saying, there was scratches all the way up the inside of the top here, so that won't be helping it seal enough to actually get a fire started. Yeah, so I'm probably, because I'm not returning this, I'm probably going to get steel wool or something and give this a really good clean, and even try to perhaps see if I can do something about the end here where it's shaved. Maybe I can find some fatter O-rings maybe, and see, or perhaps I can, if worst case really does come to worst case, I can, which will make the design flaw worse, but whatever, I could get another drill bit and a reamer and just make this ever so slightly larger, providing I can find the drill bit and a reamer large to be the right size, and I can stick some bigger O-rings on here, and it'll make a seal and it'll work. But the design flaw will be exaggerated even more the wider I make this pipe. But anyway, this is the review of it. Basically, the contents in the box, they're okay, they're about what you should expect. The O-rings are not the best quality in the world, but they'll do just fine, providing your shaft here, providing your tube here is actually not scratched and it is smooth. They do give you a little bit of extra cotton to make some more charcloth, and that's not too hard to do either. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching. Right.